Viewers, welcome to Osei Tech Solutions. Today we are going to look at how to create a drop-down list in Microsoft Excel. So let's move to the screen now. I have names here. That is name of students. I have a conduct, attitude, interest, class teacher's remark for each of the students. Now, under normal circumstance, for maybe the conduct, I will have typed a conduct that suits maybe the first person. So I could type something like well-behaved, he's friendly, what have you. But in this case, we would want to have a drop-down list of which the user will need to select an item from the list that will suit the student, that is the conduct of the student. So in this case, what we need to do is to select a cell in which we want to type the conduct or have the list. So I'll select the cell, then I'll go to the data tab, then I'll select data validation. So I'll come here, I'll click on the settings tab, and we have validation criteria, allow any value. No, we don't want this, so I'm going to click on the down arrow here. So I have a drop down list. So among these lists, I will select list. That is what I am interested in. So in this instance, we can choose to type the items, the list items. So I can say Ajiman Kwajo, that is the first person, is well behaved. So I can type it here. Well behaved, comma. Another item, I can write respectful, I can also write disrespectful, I can continue on and on until I get to the last item. But in this case, I wouldn't want us to use this method. So I'm going to clean it. I'm going to delete this. So I will select or click in the source again. Now let's come to the sheet. If you can see it well, I have two sheets. I have sheet 1, then sheet 2. So on the sheet 2, I've created list items under the conduct, attitude, interest, and then the class teacher's remark. So let's go there. Very good. So this is what we have here. So what we are going to do is that we will select the list items under the conduct. So I'll select it, all of them. Then I will click on OK. So when we come here, you will see that there is a drop down arrow next to the cell. So if I click on the drop down arrow, I'm going to have the list items of which I'll select 1 to represent the student. But before I do that, before we click on the drop down arrow, let's try and use the fill handle to replicate it for all the students. So this is what I have here. So now I can click on the down arrow. So when I click on the down arrow, now you can see the list items. So the conduct, I can select well behaved to represent the first person. I'll click the cell for the second person. In the cell for the second person, I'll click on the down arrow and select 1 for the person. I can do it on and on and on until it gets to the last person. So as we have done here, we can do the same thing here. So let's come to the attitude. So I'll select the first cell for the attitude. So as we did earlier, the same procedure. I'll go to the data tab. Then I'll select data validation. So validation criteria, allow any value. We don't want that. So I'll select list. Then I'll click inside the source. Then I move on to the location where I have my list items. So sheet 2, I'll move on there to have the attitude. I have the list items here, so I will select all of them. Then I will click on OK. So as we did earlier, I'm going to replicate this for all the students. Very good. So I'll click on the down arrow here, so we can see our list items here. So I'll choose 1 that suits that student. I'll click in the second cell, select 1 that suits that student. Third one, we can do it on and on until we get to the last person. So we can do the same thing for interest, class teachers remark, the same procedure. It is very simple. So viewers, if you want to create a list item, this is the procedure. Very simple. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for watching.